Welcome to my Wingman of the Road Goose motorcycle tent review. Genuine reaction here. Oh wow. Attention to detail there. Steel clips as well. They feel really, really good. I've got my Triumph T100 Bonneville in the shot here, and I will show you that a helmet is designed to hook on there. This is like a two-layer system. This is the Wingman Goose. For anyone that doesn't know what a Wingman of the Road is, it's a UK company that manufacture motorcycle tents. Now, this box here has been stored in my house for about the last month. I haven't opened it yet. So excited to open it and check it out. This is a tent that I've bought myself because I've just been desperate to get a motorcycle tent, and I did a lot of research. There's a lot of different ones out there. There's one by Lone Rider which looks pretty good. You can park your bike inside that tent, but this one, it's just a real authentic looking canvas tent which basically pitches up at the side of your motorcycle, and then it has a canopy which bridges over to your bike, and then also like a roll out mat, so you've got like sort of an area to do some cooking, get changed and that kind of thing. So without any further delay, let's crack this box open and let's have a look at it. This box hasn't been opened yet. This was a Christmas gift to myself. I've been patiently waiting to find the time to do this video. Here we are, the day has arrived and I finally get to open this box. So excited. Okay, oh this is it's pretty exciting. Genuine reaction here. Oh wow. Wow, just seeing that Goose Wingman stitched badge on the back there, that's so cool. Okay, let's get rid of this box. First impressions, big thumbs up. Just on the packaging alone, I'd say great. So, never set one of these up before, but what I am going to show you is a little thing I've just noticed here. This, they look like little wings, just like on the Goose. So, little attention to detail there. Let's pop these open. Steel clips as well. They feel really, really good. Not plastic. Right, so let's open her up. Now, I haven't read any instructions on how to assemble this tent. I have watched a few videos, so I've got a little bit of an idea. Right. So, obviously, I've got my Triumph T100 Bonneville in the shot here. And this Wingman really can be used against any motorcycle. I definitely think it fits in with the sort of classic vibes. Right, so, wow, this is cool. So, this just looks like a ground sheet. Inside this section, I believe there are some poles, which I haven't obviously unpacked yet, so yeah, everything's packaged up. Is there anything else in there? Nope. So, I believe what we're supposed to do here is probably pull the actual Wingman this way and move this ground sheet, which comes over to the bike like that. Something like that. Then we'd position this Goose tent just like that. So before we go any further, I just want to mention that this is a single person tent. I'm 6 foot tall. You can look up the measurements and the exact dimensions for this tent on the Wingman website, but in general there should be about 2 inches extra room once I'm inside. So it'll be cozy, but should be fine. There is a larger 2-person tent, which they call the toucan. That's available for around £405. This particular tent, the Goose, I paid £330 plus delivery. So I think that's really reasonable. Let's take a look inside this. So from what I've seen already, the beauty of the Wingman is that you can obviously just basically roll it up almost like a sleeping bag, clip it together, and off you go. For anyone who's seen some of my other videos where I went touring around France on the Triumph, I just took a normal Coleman tent, a 3-person tent, sort of the nylon type, and it was a really good tent, but you need an extra sleeping bag to go with it, you need an airbed to go into that, so that camping setup consists of about 3 different things, whereas this particular tent, it's got a built-in mattress, it's got a built-in sleeping bag, so once the sort of nighttime temperatures tend to not go any lower than 10 degrees Celsius, I would say this tent is okay, and that's based on sort of the recommendations on the Wingman website. If you're looking to go camping in sort of below 10 degrees Celsius, you would probably want to look at upgrading the sleeping bag inside the tent and probably go for something that's a little bit more sort of capable of keeping you warm in those colder minus temperatures. That said, the sleeping bag within this tent is removable, so you can swap and change as much as you'd like, really. But the idea is that obviously it all comes in one kit. You do not need lots of other add-ons. So we do have some tent pegs and a couple of tent poles. Let's have a look. So we'll just pop those there and put that there too. And then I should also say that the delivery, once I placed my order, the Wingman arrived within 2 to 3 working days on their standard postage. Obviously I live in the UK, so it wasn't shipped overseas, you know, so that makes things a little bit easier. But so far the service from Wingman's been really good. Let's try and just figure this out. So, okay, there's the canvas side. Let's start with the 2 end sections. These will form the arch. Now, one other thing I've noticed as part of my research before buying this tent, these are available as spares. So if, like myself, you break one of these when you're out camping somewhere and you're thinking, okay, where am I going to find another one? Well, Wingman supply the spares which you can buy individually. And just on that, obviously I'm speaking quite highly of Wingman here so far, and I haven't really fully tested this yet, obviously, but this is not a sponsored ad. This is just something that I'm really excited about and decided to buy. So as we're getting into biking season, I thought I'd share this video with you because, like myself, there's probably many of you who are going to be getting into biking, possibly camping on your bike, and you just need an honest review on something before you make that purchase. Now, there are these pins. Now, I'm just guessing, but I believe they slide into the end of this pole there, just like that. They are a little bit tight, if I'm honest, but I think this is just because the canvas is all new. It is taking shape as we go. Right, that's one. And there we go. Okay, let's do the other side. Personally, I'm also a really big fan of this olive green colour. Just kind of reminds you of that sort of army, sort of military feel, and the same sort of quality you'd find with things that may have been made back in the, you know, the 60s, and you just don't see this kind of quality anymore. You know, and as I'm going around this tent, I really can sort of feel the strength in the fabric. The stitching looks amazing, it's all double stitched. In terms of like future care for this tent, I know that this tent actually comes treated. So this canvas fabric has quite a good sort of weather resistant property to it, but it also becomes watertight actually once it gets wet. I don't know if that's because it allows the actual stitching to sort of seal up, but basically they do advise that you do wet this tent down before you use it. So, I mean, you probably don't have to. It basically comes as a treated tent. So yeah, you should try and do some care with it as you go. It's pretty much ready to rock and roll as soon as you get it out of the box by the looks of it. If you're enjoying the video so far, please do give the video a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Wow. That looks so good. Right, let's get this roof rod, or it's like a center rod, which sort of like is the spine of the tent itself. I believe that just slides in there. There we go. This pole here is quite a rigid pole. The sections are held together with what appears to be sort of an elasticated wire of sorts. And obviously, yeah, it's got a pin, a locating pin either end. And then this sort of looks like a composite plastic. So I don't think it's going to be the sort that goes brittle after a while. It looks quite sturdy to me. So I think that'll hold up. But let's see. It goes into the end of that eyelet there. I mean, even just on the quality of these pressed eyelets, for starters, it looks like it's actually a stainless steel piece, or certainly perhaps like nickel coated. So I don't think you're going to see anything rust on this tent either. And then I believe we just pop that back like that. Obviously, we can always adjust it once we get going. And then there are these Velcro straps that basically there we go, hold up the ceiling. Wow. Okay, so I guess the next thing would be normally to position these guide ropes, but I don't know if we need to go to that extreme today. But if we were, I guess we have one here which is secured again to an eyelet. And just take note of this sort of, I don't know what to call it, it's like a neoprene. Again, specific terms will be better checked out on the website. Again, this isn't a sponsor for Wingman, this is just my own tent, and I just thought I'd share this with you. What I do know is that underneath this canopy, there is a hook. And this canopy comes over, so at night, you don't have to leave your helmet on the grass or out in the rain. You can position it under here, tie this back with a peg, and the quality of these pegs, these aren't the flimsy type that you would get in a fairly cheap budget tent. They feel really sturdy. So let's just pop that in there. I don't know any Boy Scout knots, but something like that will do. There we go. So helmet off the floor, canvas over, perfect. let's take a look at this canopy situation. So this spare rope, actually, I'll show you this close up. I hope you can see that. It's a very strong cord. Also green, so it's going to fit in really well. We'll just pass that through there and tie it off in a little bit of a knot. Okay, so then we can fasten this off as a tether to anything on the bike. So for instance, just for the video, we'll fasten this to my rear rack. Okay. The same again. So what I'm probably going to do here is fasten it to this one. And I think the really good thing about this is you can choose if you want one end up and the other partially closed. So for instance, you could have it like that. It gives you a bit more privacy perhaps, makes it a little bit warmer, so you've just got air coming in from one end of the tent. So really you've got a lot of choice in how you want to rig this up. Okay, so let's just pull this round. Okay, this is starting to look pretty good. Let's just wave that over there. I think what I'll do now is I'll grab the camera, show you guys inside and around it. Okay, so this is the Wingman Goose. Let's have a look inside. As you can see, we have a sleeping bag. Now the sleeping bag has a built-in mattress, so fairly thick mattress. I think looking at it, it's probably around 25, 30 centimeters, something like that. So, you know, it's got a fair amount of cushion in it. I think you have to be reasonable what you can expect from a tent of this budget. You know, it's a premium product, but they have to obviously be mindful of weight of the product itself when it's getting mounted to your bike. You could have a mattress that's, you know, that thick, but then it would weigh a lot more on your bike and just be a bit more of a pain. So the zips look really good, very chunky, so I wouldn't expect this to be failing anytime soon. The actual covering itself, if I'm being honest, feels a little bit on the thin side, but I fully intend to use this over spring, throughout summer, maybe into autumn. The quality feels nice, it's nice and soft. And if you really wanted to, you could actually put a throw in here as well, sort of like a Mexican blanket type thing, and wear your thermals at night. So I think it's all good. Inside, there is another zip section here, which gives you a mosquito net. So again, you can just allow some air to flow through the tent or seal it up if you just need to. There is a hanging space up here where you can just put your gadgets, and also fly screen all the way around, as you can see. This is the ground sheet. It's very tough to the touch. It feels quite strong and thick. Obviously, you don't really want to be setting this up on sort of rough ground if you can avoid it. You don't want to be piercing this with any sharp stones or rocks or things like that. But if there was one or two, I think you'd be absolutely fine. It feels quite thick, if I'm being honest. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. Then, if we just sort of step back a little bit, this fly screen, I mean, I'm just doing this effortlessly with this zip. So that just shows you the quality. So just looking back, fly screen, I quite like that it's black too, because I actually can't see inside the tent from where I'm stood. So you'd probably feel completely private, so that's also pretty good. the outer canvas itself, which wrong one, which will zip up around just like that. Okay, moment of truth. Let's see if we can fit inside the Wingman Goose. Let's kick the boots off. There we go. This is so cool. Oh, it's actually really spacious. So, yeah, as I thought. So I'm 6 foot tall, and I've got probably about that much room above my head. So, wow, that's really spacious. Space-wise, I'd say the Wingman Goose is plenty. Even if you're 6'2", you're probably going to be fine in this. In terms of the width, on the whole, there's so much space. You could get your stove underneath the canopy, have a beer, what more could you ask for? So I think what we'll do now is we'll pack the tent away, mount it onto the rear rack of the Bonneville, and see how it looks. And there we have it, Wingman Goose. The last step is to mount it on the rear rack. Now this is the first time I've done this, so not too sure how it's gonna go. Let's see if we can get it balanced, something like that. Okay, it's not too wide, no wider than the handlebars, so that's good. I'm a really big fan of rock straps, so if you haven't used these for fastening luggage, I think they're a game changer. They're elasticated, so you can get things really nice and tight. And I actually did a little mini review on these on a previous video when I was traveling in France. I had quite a lot of luggage with me, so let's see how well they work with the Wingman. So I'm just hooking it underneath the rear rack, just like that. Now we'll probably need to pass this over, just like that, and again just underneath, like so. Let's get the second one on there. Okay. And they're just so easy to just position around whatever framework you have. As long as it's fairly solid, you don't want to be putting too much pressure on something that isn't. But let's just pull these down, just like that. And there we have it. Now, obviously, you can just tuck these in under your other straps, but for the purpose of this video, I think we've demonstrated that with a fairly small rear rack, which this one is, it's quite narrow, it's got a really good hold. Now, I could go a little bit tighter if I wanted to, but I feel like that's got it pretty good. So, the only other thing which I may use with this setup when the time comes is my side panniers, and I will just put them over the bike now just so you can get an idea for what they look like. These are my panniers that I bought from Krieger. They are the 28 litre saddlebag style panniers, and they just drape over the back seat. So obviously having a rear rack is really beneficial because you don't lose the seat space. In the past, when I went to France, I had to position the tent on this rear half of the seat. So it gave me a real narrow section of seat to sit on, and there wasn't really much room for sort of getting comfortable. But as you can see, with the saddlebags, the Wingman of the Road, maybe a backpack for just a few camping bits and whatever it is you need to carry, that's it. That's the setup. So I think we'll wrap the video up there. I hope you've enjoyed this review. It's certainly been exciting, and I've been looking forward to doing this. The Wingman initially looks to be as good as I thought it would be. So if you are in the market for a motorcycle tent, be sure to check out the Wingman of the Road website. This is the Goose. Leave a comment below if you like the video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.